Hi guys! So I'm doing a book review today that I am so excited about sharing, and that is for Sweet by Tammara Webber, which is the third book in the Contours of the Heart series. If you're not familiar with these books, this series is a new adult contemporary romance that I am so obsessed with, and I've loved these for years. It came out on Monday the 27th, so if you haven't picked it up yet or purchased it, definitely go get your hands on it because it was really good. And I can't wait to hear your all's thoughts and to share my thoughts. I really like these books because they're all companion stories, so they obviously relate and have kind of overlap, but they are still kind of standalone. So if you haven't read either of the first two, definitely don't feel like you can't watch this or that you'll be ruined or spoiled on anything. I will make this completely spoiler free as well, so even if you have read the first two but you haven't read this, or even if you have read all of them, I always try to make everything spoiler free. I do want to briefly mention the first two in case you're not familiar with these. So the first one in the series is Easy, and then the second one is Breakable. I do have individual book reviews for both of these, so if you want to read them or know kind of exclusive content on each of these, I'll put my book reviews for these below, and you can go check those out if you want to. They actually contacted me to review this one, so I did receive an ARC, and of course I jumped at the opportunity because I was already planning on reviewing it anyway. So I do want to say really quickly thank you so much to both Tammara and to Wordsmith for letting me receive a copy early to review and to share with you all. I love these so much, and I always love talking about them. So I want to give you guys a little bit of like a refresh or like a background on the first two because they relate to the new one. So I'll start with Easy, which I would consider like the OG of the Contours of the Heart series. Like, this is the original of the whole series and kind of what I like think back on when I think of everything. This follows the two characters of Lucas and Jacqueline. They meet in college, and this is told from Jacqueline's point of view. She's the female protagonist, so it's told exclusively from her perspective. They have an attraction and they sort of develop a relationship, and it's built on a lot of other kind of deeper issues and circumstances. They both kind of have their own personal lives and issues and kind of challenges that sort of inhibit their relationship a little bit. So then last year we got Breakable, which was told from Lucas's perspective, and this one is a little bit different because it covers a large portion of Easy as told from his characters, but it also has bits and pieces of his earlier life. The new one, Sweet, features two new characters, which are Boyce Wynn and Pearl Frank, and they are briefly talked about in Breakable. Boyce is the male character, and essentially he was Lucas's best friend from high school, and the two of them actually started out as like enemies and hating each other, and then they became really great friends in high school. And then Pearl's character also went to high school with them and was sort of friends with both of them, but primarily she was friends with Boyce. It's a little bit different than those two because whereas in Easy, Jacqueline and Lucas meet, Boyce and Pearl already knew each other and they basically grew up together. Boyce is 2 years older than Pearl, so he's always sort of looked out for her, and they've always kind of been friends, but they never really became close until high school. They've always had like an underlying attraction and kind of a relationship, but there have been other factors and things that have kind of kept them apart and just kind of made things challenging. The book starts off where you know, Pearl went off to college, Boyce stayed home and didn't go to college. So he stayed where they all grew up. Pearl graduates from college and comes back home, and the two of them sort of pick back up with their friendship. I like how the book is written because every chapter alternates between the two of them. Each of the books all have different sort of writing styles and layouts. I think that's really cool. It's kind of like a general idea about the plot. I don't want to give away too much and spoil it. So a little bit about the characters. Boyce's character is described as kind of like a good old country boy, but he's very like fit and toned and really attractive, which it was kind of interesting because he's a redhead and I'm a redhead, so he's redheaded, but he's very toned and like fit. And you know, growing up in high school, he wasn't really the smartest guy and he really didn't know where he was going in the future, but he's kind of figured it out after everyone else went off to college, and he is, you know, running his father's garage where he fixes cars and stuff, and he's really successful at it, and he does a really good job, and he kind of knows what his like purpose is in life. Pearl's kind of he describes her as like really tiny, but she's got dark hair, and I think she's a really genuine kind of like sweet personality. I think she's always been compassionate towards others, and she's really friendly, and she tries to be a good person. She's really smart and really intelligent, and she goes off to college to study pre-med and to become a doctor, and she sort of has a change of heart and wants to do something else that her parents don't really agree with. So she kind of becomes a little bit lost, and she doesn't know how to handle her future. Boyce kind of helps her with that, so you know, he kind of looks out for her like he always has, and I think the two of their characters sort of bring out the best in each other. They have this whole history together, which I wasn't expecting because I was kind of used to the setup of Jacqueline and Lucas's character, but they already knew each other, and they have a whole past and history and stuff, so it kind of just reiterates their characters and kind of what they already know, and just sort of progresses along kind of this relationship they've been like developing over the years. They definitely have their own personalities. I think they were written really well. You know, Boyce is very loud and outgoing, and like I said, kind of a bit of a country boy, so he is just very like, tell it how it is. Pearl's character is a little bit more polished. The two kind of balance each other out, and I think where one has a weakness, the other compensates for its strength. Overall, I really liked the story. I felt like Tammara always does a really good job of giving the characters personality in life, and there were also some other like underlying issues that came into the storyline with Boyce's family and Pearl's family and previous relationships and other characters, and I think that you know, that's what makes stories. I would definitely recommend it to you all. It definitely has a different feel than the first two because it is set in where they grew up. Boyce's character is a lot different than Lucas's character. I would say Pearl isn't too far from maybe how Jacqueline's character is, but they still each encompass their own personalities and their own kind of, I guess, goals and traits and things like that. I wasn't sure as to how I wanted to rate this one because I really liked it, but for me, I always still will forever probably see Easy as my favorite. I think writing style, plot development, characters, all of that is still really excellent and spot on, but for me, I didn't love the characters and connect with them quite as much as I did with the others, and I kind of hate that because I don't think you should really compare stories, but they kind of connect together. So I decided to give the book a 4.5 star out of 5 because it still had everything that I think makes the others great. I just didn't love the characters quite as much as I love Lucas and Jacqueline. Lucas is kind of more, I don't want to say like my style, like I would date Lucas over Boyce, but like I kind of relate more to them. Still loved this story so much, and I loved reading it. I think she is bomb at writing from the male character's perspective. I'm really impressed though how she always writes from the male character's perspective, because as a female that is probably a little challenging for some people, so I think she does a phenomenal job, and I loved it, and I would definitely recommend you guys to check it out if you haven't yet. That is all for my review today. If you guys want to discuss this with me or let me know what you thought, feel free to comment down below and let me know what you thought. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to y'all very soon. Bye everyone.